everybody. Welcome back to Active Concepts Masterclass Series. I'm Morgan Drohan, a technical marketing specialist, and today I'm here with our senior formulation chemist, Rhonda Tadeo. Welcome.
Hi, Morgan.
So today we're going to be discussing problem skin. But first, as a quick little intro, our technical marketing team works really closely with Rhonda's team on applications. Rhonda, why don't you give us a quick little dive and background into what you do?
Sure. I've been in the industry for about 8 years, formulating final products for just various customers, different types of products, skincare, hair care. Now I work for Active. I used to use Active products. Now I work for Active and use their products in the active innovation side. So we do full formula development for brands.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kind of came full circle for
exactly.
you.
I love it.
Yeah. So our team, you guys may notice we release prototype kits a few a year, and that's kind of where our teams really collide. Our marketing team loves to look at what's coming, what trends can we hit, and the prototype kits are really fun for us. That's kind of where our creativity comes to life. And then we talk to Rhonda's team about her formulating them all for us.
Yeah.
But, to get to today's topic of our masterclass, we're going to be discussing problem skin, everyone's least favorite thing to deal with. But yeah, problem skin, that is a huge umbrella of all sorts of concerns, whether that's acne, oily, dryness, rosacea, inflammation. I know I, at one point, struggled with problem skin, lots of acne in middle school or high school.
As we all did.
The worst. Really hated it. But I think in a way it kind of brings a really personal connection to working in the cosmetics and personal space field, because we can then formulate ingredients and products that then help these people with similar stuff that we've gone through.
Right.
Help them bring their confidence back, educate them on what they can do with it. So kind of like I touched on, problem skin is a huge umbrella. But Rhonda, from your experience and, what you've been formulating kind of behind the scenes, what would you say that, are the most common skin concerns that we deal with for problem skin?
Well, you mentioned inflammation earlier, so that's one of the biggest concerns. A lot of things factor into that. It's basically the body's natural reaction to, irritation, things like that. It causes your skin red, any kind of infections, you get inflammation. Everybody's familiar with that, right?
Unfortunately.
So it's annoying, right? So that's one of the biggest ones. And then we have this thing called paraffins, and if you're not familiar with that, it's basically the byproduct of bacteria on your face. No one wants to talk about that.
That sounds gross.
Right? But no, it naturally occurs on your face, and these byproducts are okay for a certain level, but once they get, if the bacteria gets overgrown, it can cause a lot, it's gross. It can cause a lot of inflammation, your pores get really filled, clogged.
Yeah.
It's really gross.
All the really gross stuff.
So speaking of bacteria, then you have what is called microbiomes. I'm sure you've heard of it, and I'm sure everyone out there has heard of it. But microbiomes is also naturally occurring on your skin. So it's,
it's a whole ecosystem on there.
Exactly. A whole ecosystem of bacteria, fungi, they all work together to give you this healthy skin, right? And so if you have a good balance, you have really good skin, right? But if the balance is wrong, if it's off somehow, which can be caused by environmental factors, stress, things like that. I deal with a lot more stress now than I used to when I was younger. But
Can't relate.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But those things can cause a lot of redness and inflammation. So they all kind of intertwined together to cause that problem, which is one of the biggest I find. Yeah.
It's interesting that you say an imbalance, right? Because I think there's this common misconception that all bacteria is bad bacteria.
Yeah,
but
not true.
Not true. False. Debunked. No, but it's interesting because you do need that, good ratio of pathogenic and commensal bacteria for your skin to look overall really healthy. Depending on our consumer's age group, they struggle with different skin problems, whether that's maybe you're in your preteens or teens and you're going through acne, or maybe you're a little bit older and you're dealing with drier skin. Based on your experience with formulating products, are you creating different things for different age groups I'm sure it has to be targeted somehow based on the skin's age and skin's health.
Yeah, most definitely. As you age, your skin ages, right? So you want, depending on what stage you are in your life, you want to target, different products for different things. So if you're a teenager, you're definitely dealing with acne, right? So you're gonna want to.
Sure was.
Yeah. Well, we all. So you want to use products like things that have salicylic acid in it to kind of like clear those pores.
Yeah.
But then you want to follow that up with things that soothe it, like honey actually works well.
Interesting.
And then there's like aloe too, which works well. But then when you get older, your skin starts to weaken the barrier.
Yeah.
Right. So you're kind of looking at a different perspective. You have to build the barrier back up.
Right.
So we develop formulas, with vitamin C, with vitamin B, with ceramides, things like that, to help build that barrier to get you better, healthy skin.
Yeah, it's almost like you can attack younger skin with a little bit harsher and targeted products as to where maybe older skin doesn't really like have the ability to defend against it as much.
And when you weaken that barrier as you get older, that's when you're subjected to a lot of inflammation problems, right?
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like targeting the issues, but without causing more damage to the skin.
Yeah.
So don't give your problem skin more problems. Oh my God. But so it's also interesting because kind of once our consumers get over that struggle, perhaps, when I finally got into college and I feel like my skin just calmed down, it was more so now me switching my regimen to maybe harsher products that were targeting the acne on my skin to more so like reparative and moisturizing.
Right.
So based on, the aftercare, what sort of products would you recommend for people who are getting over problem skin?
Yeah, you definitely want to include stuff that are preventative. So kind of leaning towards that like older age things. You're once you get that past the teenage stage into older age, but you're in the middle still, you kind of want to still use like vitamin C, maybe not as much as you would older, but like vitamin C, things like that. But someone in their teens may not be able to take a lot. So you're kind of in there. I would come up with a regimen. Regimen is key. So you have to find what regimen works for your skincare.
Yeah.
For your skin, because everybody's skin is different. Your skin routine may not work for me. Right. So it's all about that. And definitely moisturizers and any kind of fragrance-free type of ingredients, because you don't want to irritate back what you tried to clear up, right? So I personally don't like to put anything fragrance on my face.
Nothing.
No
fragrance for Rhonda.
No, I don't like it on my face.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like, hearing the word regimen, it can kind of be overwhelming to some people. And I've also noticed just with the younger demographic being on social media so much more, it's kind of like the thing to have like these skin smoothies and putting so much on your face. But I think it's important to educate that might not be the best idea because young skin is already so beautiful. You don't need to be putting all this stuff on your face.
Exactly. You don't need, I personally use like 3 products. Yeah. Honestly. And
your skin's glowing, Rhonda. Thank you. Really.
Thank you. As you get older, you want to add like anti-wrinkles and stuff like that. But a lot of these teenagers are starting at teenagers. I would recommend starting in your 20s.
Right.
But not like with crazy stuff that you would use in your 40s.
Right. It's more like a preventative thing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all about preventative, right? So.
Well, I have just like a curiosity question.
Sure.
So from a formulator's perspective, did you or do you get like a request for maybe a product more than others when you're getting briefs for problem skin? Like, is it a face wash? Is it serums? Is it moisturizers? Like, what are you getting asked for the most?
It's usually, I would say, serums and moisturizers.
Okay.
We have quite a few customers that are kind of targeted the older generation or the older demographic. Yeah. And they would like moisturizers to kind of help that skin barrier, going back to that.
Skin barrier.
Skin barrier, that's what it's about. That's all I'm about right now.
Every time you hear the word skin barrier.
Think about me. Yeah, so we find that those are like the 2 biggest ones. Not so much cleansers, but it's a lot of like rub leave-ons, things like that.
That's interesting. Yeah. That surprises me. I would have thought face wash, but what do I know?
Not yet. We'll see.
Nothing. Maybe it's a future trend.
We'll see what we can do.
Okay. Well, no, thank you so much. I feel like it's always really interesting to hear people on the bench talk about what they're formulating, what they're getting asked for, because when we're going and talking to consumers and brands, we can kind of then bring it back to you guys. But when it comes to the product forms, you guys are the experts. So
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We are a little bit, yeah.
Experts here. Thank you guys for listening about problem skin.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, hopefully this provides some sort of education on, what encompasses problem skin, what different age groups are struggling with, and then how to preventatively take care of it once you have that beautiful shining skin again. But I'm Morgan, technical marketing specialist, and thank you, Rhonda Tadeo.
Thank you for having me.
Our senior formulation chemist.
Yep.
Of course. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.